All right, let's dive into a discovery that could literally change everything we know about electronics. Researchers have just figured out how to turn one of the world's most talked about materials into a perfect quantum superhighway. And it all starts with a problem I guarantee you felt right in your own hands. Ever wonder why your phone gets crazy hot when you're multitasking? Or why your laptop's fan suddenly sounds like it's preparing for takeoff? No, it's not just you. It's a hard, physical limit of the tech we use every single day, a problem that's happening down at the atomic level. So where's the bottleneck? Well, it all comes down to the way our electronics currently work. To put it simply, it's a massive, chaotic traffic jam happening on an atomic scale. And honestly, it's been holding our technology back for decades. So let's break this down. You see, right now, all of our gadgets work by shoving electrons around using their charge. Just imagine a super crowded city street at rush hour. The electrons are constantly bumping into each other, causing collisions, creating jams, and wasting a ton of energy. And that wasted energy, that's the heat you feel. But what if there was a totally different way? That's where the dream of spintronics comes in. The idea is, instead of using the electron's charge, we use its other property, something called spin. In that world, it's not a crowded street anymore. It's a perfect, multi-lane superhighway. Everything is smooth, efficient, crazy fast, and with almost zero energy wasted. So, what's the holdup? Why isn't everything spintronic already? Well, here's the big catch. Controlling an electron's spin is, and I mean this, incredibly hard. For years, the only way we could even attempt it was by using these enormous, power-guzzling magnets. And that kind of defeats the whole purpose of making small, super-efficient devices, doesn't it? We needed a totally new game plan. And that brings us to the hero of our story, graphene. You've probably heard the buzz around this stuff, and for very good reason. It really is a wonder material. I mean, graphene's resume is just unbelievable. It's just a single layer of carbon atoms. That's it. One atom thick. But it's stronger than steel, a better conductor than copper, and it's almost totally transparent. It checks so many boxes. But, and this is a big but, it has one critical flaw for our purposes. In its natural state, graphene just isn't magnetic. It's missing that one key ingredient we need to build our spintronic superhighway. So how do you give a wonder material its one missing superpower? Well, according to a team of researchers in the journal Nature Communications, you do something that sounds kind of delicious. You build a quantum sandwich. And the process itself sounds almost too easy, right? First, you take a perfect, flawless sheet of graphene. Then, you just gently lay it on top of a super thin slice of a special magnetic material. And that's pretty much it. A quantum phenomenon called the proximity effect takes over, and just by being so close, the graphene itself becomes magnetic. It's what scientists call a van der Waals heterostructure, which, yeah, is a mouthful, but it's really just a fancy way of saying you've stacked these atom-thin layers together perfectly. And that simple act changes absolutely everything. So, the quantum sandwich is made. The moment of truth arrives. The big question is, does it actually work? Have they really managed to create this perfect superhighway for spin they've been hoping for? And right away, bam, the first clue hits, and it's a huge success. They measured the electrical flow and spotted something called the anomalous Hall effect. Now, you don't need to know all the physics, just this. That signal only shows up when a material is magnetic. It was the smoking gun. It was definitive proof that the graphene had become magnetic, all on its own, just from being next to its neighbor. But if that wasn't impressive enough, get this, the temperature. This magnetic effect didn't just happen at some crazy low impractical temperature. It worked all the way up to 300 Kelvin, which is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's room temperature. For anyone in this field, that is a holy grail. It's a massive leap towards making devices that actually work in the real world. But here's the thing. Making graphene magnetic, that was really just step one. It was the key that unlocked the door to the real prize, the ultimate goal of the whole experiment, something physicists have been chasing for years. And that is the quantum spin Hall effect. Now, this is where things get really, really cool. It describes this bizarre and beautiful state of matter where the inside, the bulk of the material, is a total insulator. Nothing gets through. But the edges, the edges become these perfect, protected superhighways. On these highways, electrons with spin up go one way, and electrons with spin down go the opposite way, each in their own special lane. And unbelievably, they found it. The paper says it all, right there in the abstract. They detected this perfect, organized spin highway along the edges of the graphene, and the most critical part of all, they did it with zero external magnetic field. They built the highway without any of the bulky, power-hungry equipment. They did it with just the sandwich. This is why it's so perfect. These lanes on the edge are what scientists call topologically protected, which is just a very robust way of saying the electrons have to stay in their lane. There's nowhere else to go. So you get no collisions, no traffic, and, you guessed it, almost no wasted energy as heat. It's perfect flow. So how do you prove something like this beyond a shadow of a doubt? Well, physics has this beautiful built-in fingerprint. A perfect two-lane quantum highway like this one has a very specific, universal value of electrical conductance, and when they measured it, it was a perfect match. This number wasn't just data, it was the undeniable proof. The quantum superhighway was real, and it was open for business. So let's bring it all home. We started this journey with a hot, slow laptop, and we ended up here with a perfect quantum highway built from a single layer of atoms. What does this amazing discovery actually mean for you, for me, for the future of all our technology? Well, this matters for a whole bunch of reasons. First, we can finally ditch those huge power-draining magnets. We can create channels for information that are incredibly stable and resistant to errors. And it works in practical conditions, not just in some sub-zero lab. This work genuinely swings the door wide open for a whole new class of quantum spintronic devices, paving the way for the kind of fast, cool, ultra-efficient electronics that we've really only been able to dream about. Think about it. This one experiment proved you could achieve this incredible quantum state in graphene simply by layering two materials together. It just leaves you with this one massive question. Are we standing on the brink of a brand new age of electronics? An age built not on those chaotic, crowded streets, but on the perfect, flawless lanes of a quantum superhighway?